My monkey man, my king, my high priest, ninja warlock, I love you violently with the fire of 1,000 suns. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, experience, Jedi mind powers, amazing humor, and unconditional love. I am truly honored to not walk behind nor in front of you, but by your side. N with a capital C.
Now, Charlie, I know that I made the joke that time about the Vatican assassins with you, and you don't care if people run with it and them saying we're warlocks. I understand that's a funny joke to you, but they'll take it serious. Actually, one time I was at your house, you were reading the Citizen Rule Book and talking about our God-given rights. What is your view about heaven and hell and life? Because in person, you're a very loving, good person.
Yeah, I mean, I find heaven in the eyes of my family. That includes all of them. And I find hell in the eyes of everyone who tries to disrupt that love. Period, the end. Can't find that in the Bible, but whatever. It's really kind of boring and long and talking snakes and wow. We give up a whole Sunday for that garbage. Well, missing a lot of good sports, people. Lots of good sports.
Well, Charlie, I'm just glad that you are clean. And so you're saying never again, totally committed. This is it.
Right now it is. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I just don't subscribe to any part of the model. So I am my own man. I make a decision that day and inside the moments. And I live with them, good or bad. They're mostly good, though.
Well, Charlie, before we bring Nails up here and talk about, the baseball stuff you guys are doing and working with kids in the community like you did a few weeks ago and, telling kids not to use drugs, what's your bottom line on any other points? Because I know you've told me you're not going to be doing a lot of interviews. For anything else you want to impart to folks out there?
I want to see if Nails can get his beautiful mind around this one because, I look at the game of baseball, and I'm reminded of a quote that I wrote. It is a perfect game where its poetic ebb and flow can silence the loudest crying infant in the universe into a smile-draped nap.
That's pretty heavy.
It's not bad. It goes on, but people will just tune out at some point because they're stupid.
Well, let me tell you, the voice messages you've left me that are private, that's some pretty powerful poetry. I mean, you're on fire. I mean, you're not reading poetry aloud in a voice. You are literally spewing pretty powerful poetry, even more powerful than what I've heard here today about Jaws, and that was pretty epic. I mean, Charlie, you're on fire.
Well, I've been... my passion was asleep for a long time, but like I told Dan Patrick, one of my favorite people alive, he's an absolute ninja warrior, Vatican assassin, borderline warlock. They couldn't extinguish my pilot light, and that was a mistake. That was their mistake. So just dumped some rocket fuel on it, woke up my brain and said, all right, I woke up, I'm 45, I got 5 kids, and I've been pushed, I've been dumped on for too long. And, one of my favorite poets is Eminem, one of the smartest cats alive.
He actually...
People that inspire me, inspire me to stay violent.
He actually put out a 9/11 truth video. I'm sure you're aware of that. Now it's 5 years ago. I mean, he's certainly tuned into reality. You ought to reach out to him, Charlie. You could probably, actually get a hold of him.
I'll reach out to him right now. Let's hook up and just bring fiery death.
And you mean fiery death to lies and propaganda and hypocrisy? Yeah,
but see, look at how they've gotten into your brain, dude. It's like now we have to qualify everything. I don't know, fiery death, man. Let them figure it out.
No, I totally.
If it comes from the sky or from my heart, then it's going to have the same level of destruction.
Charlie Sheen on fire. Charlie Sheen unloosed. You're hearing the real Charlie Sheen here on air right now. And my phone.
Well, let me ask you this: Who have you ever referred to in the past as a tarot card?
You.
Thank you. I'll take it. I'm worth it.
Well, what I meant by that is you have always been a giant, top of the cream Hollywood star. For many years now, the #1 TV show, most rated, most money. But now, because the media has continued to try to say you're going to be destroyed, now there's this image that you're bulletproof and invincible. And, I'd say don't, tempt the fates and I pray for you and I love you and I care about you because I know you're real and you're a loving person. But, I mean, you have become an archetype of almost like Bacchus or something. You know, that's the Roman wine god. But
I'm terribly flattered. Keep going. Keep going. Keep talking about me like this. People need to hear this, man.
Man, I tell you, Charlie, I was always amazed by your knowledge of history and interesting things, but you were so tightly wound and focused and quiet all the times I hung out with you, and then you kind of went into this wild period, and you've just come out of it. I was shackled and oppressed by the deplorable, as I said, cult of AA for 22 years. So, you know, kind of feeling like it's time to stretch away from all those clowns. Let me bring up one more point on that subject.
Yeah.
You talk about it being a cult. I don't know enough about AA, never been to a meeting, but I have read their book. And I've talked to a lot of people that have been involved, and they do describe it as a cult, saying be part of the group, don't be an individual. And that's why I mentioned Thomas Jefferson. He was the opposite of that. And so it does have some of those hallmarks. But, you know, also you've... I mean, are you saying basically it's something kind of like Scientology but different?
I don't know enough about what I call the Church of the Martian Idiot to really to comment on it. I mean, what they profess to believe in is, I don't know. I always thought it was like a really complicated long joke with no good punchline. But yeah, no, I just 22 years around those oppressive clowns and losers. I just finally extracted myself from their troll hole and started living my life the way I want to live it. Because AA does not teach you how to live your life the way you want to live it. It's vintage, it's outdated, it's stupid, and it's worshipped by stupid people. And it is their fault, goddammit. It's like, oh, you can't blame people for, being dumb. It's like they're as dumb as what they've been taught. No, bullshit. Sorry, step up. Step up and change it. Change it right now. Look your father in the eye and say, you're wrong. I'm different. I'm better. Watch me. Watch me bury you.
And, Charlie, you will be back at work Tuesday.
I'll be early. I don't sleep. I wait.
I know you don't sleep. Sometimes I get text from you, at 3 a.m. Your time. You are certainly on fire, my friend. Well, I think you have basically taken over the news cycle for the next week here on this broadcast.
Great. Let's talk about something exciting. Me. Not all this other boring garbage crap,
Man, Charlie. But I mean, you're describing this. You're saying you've come out of a cult after 20 years, and that's why you're on fire.
They suffocated my soul. They hijacked my brain. They brainwashed my friends and my family. Now I hate them violently, and I will use every soldier in my army to defend myself against them, because they will come at me. They will come at me with all of their doctors and their talking heads and all their other freaking loser clowns. And shame on these outlets that give these people the time to speak about me. How dare they speak of me we've never met? How dare they? That's another thing. Another one, one of my other credos. Everybody has a black belt and carries a gun. I don't mess with people. I don't get up in people's grills and tell them, I must now impose my silly will on you. But dude, we just met, and all I did was ask you for a cigarette. I'm like, yes, but, and dude, everything after but is just dial tone. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, but believe me, Charlie, I am really hearing you today. Basically, you're telling the world, I'm an individual. I control my own destiny. Stop speaking for me. I mean, look, I get calls probably every week for 6 years from the Hollywood Reporter, ABC News. I mean, my phone's over here ringing off the hook with national media. And I called you this morning and said, I'm getting TMZ and other people calling me. I said, I don't want to comment. I just want to let you speak for yourself. You said, absolutely, absolutely. See, I mean, I don't run around. The one time I went on TV to talk about, when you first went public for 9/11 Truth, I called you and said, do you even want me to do this? I don't want to speak for you. Why don't you go on? You said, no, do it. But then all these other people you let into your life, and they just give out all your personal information on and on and on. And it's wrong.
Yeah, but they think it's personal. They think it's information. It's nothing. It's a smoke screen, dude. Come on. They don't know me. They never will. They don't deserve to. I'm rolling out magic, bro, and I must save it for my family.
Well, Charlie Sheen, indomitable, just off the charts interview here. Let's bring up your friend, somebody who is defeated J.P. Morgan. Of course, everybody knows Lenny Dykstra. And, of course, he won the World Series championship in '86 with the Mets. I'm not going to go over his whole record, but he's one of the greats. Hit 400 in August. I mean, Charlie, you introduced him. Nails is here. Tell us about Nails.
He's hardcore, and it's with a capital C. There's a movie called Hardcore with George C. Scott. So you could be hardcore and just be George Scott. You could be hardcore and then, you get a lowercase c. My man is an uppercase George C. Scott hardcore.
Here he is. Nails, you've been sitting here for 20 minutes on hold. What do you think of what Charlie is saying?
Actually, I don't want him to stop. I mean, and Charlie knows me. I don't really tell him what he wants to hear. I just tell him the truth.
Which is why we love each other unconditionally and with violence. And you're one of the best dudes alive, bro.
No, you are. I mean, look, the thing about me is a lot of people don't like me because I tell the truth. And right now, Charlie is when I say en fuego, the guy's on point. I mean, and when I say on point, I mean, it's almost like he's on a mission. Anybody in his way, they're going to get mowed down. And if they don't like it, that's just the way it is. And,
well, do you remember that bald fool, Lenny, that came in with his therapy and his voodoo, and he tried to judge me? He said I was too excited.
Yeah.
The only thing I got excited about was catching the last drop of blood just before his beheaded, silly dome made contact with my beautiful wooden floor in my home in front of my children.
I tell you. Plus, the way the man uses the English language is see, the thing about you, Charlie, is
yes?
people do not realize how brilliant you are. And by the way,
oh, you're too kind, but you speak the truth.
I'm not a guy that gets on his knees, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean.
I got you, bro. Neither am I. I think you know what I mean.
But what I'm saying is, I like to be around people I can learn something from. Okay, and if I can't learn something every day, then it's kind of a lost day. With Charlie,
very well said, my man. Very well said, Len. Very well said.
But I'll tell you what's better said is, every day I'm with Charlie, he continues to set new marks. Meaning, I keep saying there's got to be three of you. There has to be, but there's not. There's one of them, and right now, again, I appreciate the kind words, and the one thing about me I can tell you is, you got me on your team, then you got a guy that'll take a bullet for you. And I will watch it bounce off as I finish my ham sandwich.
Charlie, something we've talked about privately, changing the subject for a moment. I want to get Nail's take on this. The TSA isn't just in the airports now. You got to fly in a private jet just to get away from them, sticking their hands down people's pants. Drudge Report has the headline from Gizmodo: TSA agents pat down 9-year-old boy after train trip. They've got telescreens in Walmart saying, watch your neighbors. I mean, is this not the Gestapo rollout in America?
I mean, duh. Kind of right there out in the open. Anybody that wants to ignore it deserves to have their privates fondled by some clown who worked the door at Walmart 7 minutes before that. And then it took them 6 minutes to get to the airport. Losers and clowns and trolls, all of them. Touch my children and I will eat your hands off your frickin' arms.
Well, that's actually what Ron Paul said. He said, if America lets this happen and lets them train us to be slaves, I mean, this is like prisoner induction training, then we deserve what we get. And Jesse Ventura said that as well.
It's kind of true. People say, I can't be blamed for my ignorance. Yeah, well, who else am I going to blame? Your stupid wife? Good God, go away. Go back to the frickin' troll hole where you came from, fool.
Oh, man, this is incredible, Charlie. We're doing this interview here, and I just appreciate you doing it here. You're my friend. I care about you, and obviously this is going to bring a lot of attention to Infowars.com and PrisonPundit.com.
No way. They're going to ignore this. Come on. It'll be as though it never even happened.
Yeah.